Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is the last episode of Thomas at Home. I'm a little emotional right now, but we're taking a look at a really great release. We're taking a look at Christmas on Sodor today. What a great release to end the series on. This is a banger. So this was released digitally in the US on October 3 of 2017, and then was released onto DVD on October 17 of 2017, and then it was released to Walmart on November 2 of 2017. Apparently there was also a version out there from 2018 that included tickets to go and see the Grinch movie from Universal, or from Illumination, excuse me, so bit interesting there, but I believe this is the 2017 version. I don't know if this one came with the tickets or not, whatever. There's no real way of telling. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and that's the last US episode DVD. So after this, we would get some compilations, and we would get a movie, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, let's take a look here. So I absolutely love this cover. It's so pretty. I just love all the colors. It looks great. Up there, we have includes 8 episodes and a little ribbon or a bow. Got the Thomas logo, Christmas on Sodor. We got Harold up there. This title actually is a bit generic, and I'm surprised they didn't use it sooner, but it's kind of cool. And then we got Thomas right here. We got Terence. Oh boy. Harold also has a tree, and there are 2 other trees right here. We got Sir Topham Hatt and some random people. I don't know why that's not like Stephen, Bridget, and Lady Hat, but whatever. And there's also a snowman there. I don't know what it is, but I think it's the contrast with that really nice blue and the like pink sky is what does it for me. It just looks so pretty. And they are outside Tidmouth Town Square, so very cool. On the side here, we no longer have the Hit Entertainment logo. We have the Mattel Creations logo. I don't know the full story behind this, but somewhere in 2017, probably before Journey Beyond Sodor, Mattel Creations was invented and they took over Hit. I don't know, but whatever. We got all this on the side here. A red Universal logo, which is very nice. I believe this is the only alternate Universal color, because the rest have all been in blue, so that's kind of cool. Back here is your description. And then up there we have action-packed festive fun by the Thomas logo and the barcode. And what's this? We have episode listings again. That's really cool. I don't know why it took us, it wasn't 16 years. That's a lot. Like 8 years? Because the last one to have an episode selection, or an episode, like, description thing on the back was Percy and the Bandstand, and that was in 2009, so that would have been, 8 years. That's crazy. But yeah, what episodes are there? We have Terence Breaks the Ice, Daisy's Perfect Christmas, Confused Coaches, Emily in the Middle, The Big Freeze, Cautious Connor, All in Vain, and Tit for Tat. That's really cool. And then we have a nice little, it's not a screenshot, but it's a bit of a recreation from Terence Breaks the Ice. We got Terence, who has just fallen in the lake, and then there's Thomas there. Looks kind of like a nitrogen Thomas for some reason. That's kind of cool. Got a couple of screenshots here. We got Connor from Cautious Connor, Toby from Emily in the Middle, and Rex from Daisy's Perfect Christmas. And then in our bonus features little selection thing here, we have a sing-along music video, It's Christmas Time, Learn with Thomas, Helping Others, The Earl's Quiz, Sleigh and Plow, and Down at the Station, How Steam Engines Use Coal. That's actually supposed to be Mr. Perkins' Railway, not Down at the Station, so whatever. For some reason, I don't know why, but these don't play during the release. If you remember back to pretty much every single release from the CGI series, they would have like a Mr. Perkins segment or any of these other segments in between episodes, but for Ultimate Friendship Adventures, they couldn't fit those on there, so they took that out. They weren't in Extraordinary Engines, and they're not in this for some reason, so it's kind of strange. And here's the disc. Pretty standard. This did not come with a slipcover. I don't know why, but that would have been really cool because it would have looked so pretty. But yeah. Alrighty, so we already listed the episodes. Let's go to my notes here. So before I start, I just want to mention that this is the first and technically last U.S. Thomas DVD to have the updated intro. In 2015, so around like season 19 or so, they updated the intro and the engine roll call to be more like modern and cool. And it's actually a really sick remix. I like it a lot. Yeah, these versions are much better than the old ones, and it really gets me hyped to watch these episodes. I don't know why the roll call isn't on here. It's just the intro, so a bit strange, but whatever. Alrighty, our first episode here, Terence Breaks the Ice. This episode is a lot of fun. Kind of like Trevor. I find it crazy that Terence was absent from the series for such a long time, and I really like his render as well. It did look a bit strange when the cover was leaked back in 2017, around like maybe around September or August or whatever, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, he does not have his widow's peak, which for those confused what that is this little like triangle piece here. I think it's supposed to be like hair, like on a person. So I don't know why Terence has that. He just looks extremely strange without eyebrows, so I'm glad that they put them on his render here, because like, how do you animate that? It just looks like his eyebrows got like shaven off, so yeah. Regardless, the story is a lot of fun. It really feels like a Christopher Audrey Railway Series story, maybe even a little bit of Wilbert Audrey as well. It feels very like season 3 to me for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I like it. I get those vibes a lot. The stakes actually feel very high, and you feel like Terence might actually sing. So, all like the music, the pacing, the editing, the direction, voice acting, and such, it's all very well done in that scene. My only gripe with this episode, well, my only two, are that Terence is a bit of an idiot. Like, did he really think he could go across that lake without it breaking? Like, his whole thing is you have to be sensible if you want to stay safe or whatever. So why did he think he could go around the lake? I mean, or across the lake? He could have gone around it and would have been better, but whatever. I'm also not a fan of how long the flashback is. Yes, it's good that they reference the old series and books, and you need to know why Thomas and Terence's relationship is so important, but it takes up a lot of time, and it just seems like it's the writer was padding. Wow, I can't talk today. It feels like the writer was padding a little bit. So, yeah. I'm not gonna mention this with every single episode on this, but there's not really a lot of bouncing in this episode. So, Journey Beyond Sodor had come out before this, and that was the start of the engines bouncing like cars and Chuggington, and thankfully they did ease into it. It was actually pretty apparent in Journey Beyond Sodor, but in season 21, in certain episodes, it was either not there or very calm. Like in this one, the only time a character bounces is when Terence first falls in the lake and Thomas is like, "Terence!" And then I guess you could apply that to when Terence is under the blanket after he got saved. He's kind of like shivering, so I don't know if that counts, but yeah. But yeah, overall, pretty enjoyable episode. I think it's on par with the classic series, probably like season 3, season 4 quality. I'll give it a 8.5. It's not quite a 9 for me, but it's like right on the line. I'm just kind of annoyed by Terence's personality, but whatever. At least he has one. Alrighty, Daisy's Perfect Christmas. Another really great episode. Daisy's still as enjoyable as she was in season 20, and her attitude with Christmas traditions is so much fun. She's very relatable to many of the adults watching. I really like how we get to see more of Ryan, Judy, and Jerome, and I really wish we got to see them more as the series went on. In fact, I think this is Ryan's last speaking role of the entire series. He does cameo in Big World Big Adventures, and they reskin his model for the international episodes, but he never talks, which is a bit interesting. But it happens a lot with the new characters. Take like Skiff, for example, same deal. He appeared in season 20. He made like non-speaking cameos in 21. Then he was gone, and then he appeared like twice in season 24. So it's a bit strange. But yeah, not many specific points. I really like the 12 Days of Christmas like rewrite that they focus on Daisy with. Like, on the 12th day of... No, that's not how it goes. It's Jingle Bells. That's what it was. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me... I don't remember how the song goes, but it's really funny. It's like... I don't even want to attempt to sing it, but yeah. 9 out of 10. Very good story. Oh yeah, it's Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to swerve in a well-sprung diesel sleigh. That's how it goes. Stupid me. All right. Confused Coaches. What a great end to the series. This is technically the last episode of season 21. And what a great one to end the season on. I really love Spencer and Gordon's stories, and their dynamic is really great here. It's like it's plucked right out of season 7, and they really feel like competing friends or like cousins or something, and they technically are cousins, so it's kind of cool. The only things that I'm not crazy about are the stupid scenes where Sir Topham Hatt falls over and acts like a buffoon. They really don't contrast with his very stern personality. Take, for example, when he's bringing tea to the Duke and Duchess and he falls and it lands on his butt. And then contrast that with the end of the episode where he's like very stern and scolding Gordon and Spencer. This doesn't really contrast that well with me. And I'm also not a fan of how fast Gordon and Spencer are going. I know it's a nitpick, but holy crap. They are going so fast, and they should have died by like the 3-minute mark. Like they go around, there's a shot where they both round the bend before going to Callan Castle, and they're going so fast, like it's insane. They're going like 100 miles an hour. But regardless, this is a very well done episode with a great moral, really clever and witty dialogue and writing and such, and it caps off a nearly 15-year-long rivalry nearly perfectly. Give it another 9 out of 10. Alright, Emily in the Middle. As much as it pains me to say this, I think this episode is just okay. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but it's far from being higher than like a 5 out of 10 for me. I really love the pairing of Donald, Douglas, and Emily, but the fact that Donald and Douglas are back to arguing in the snow is a bit redundant. It feels like they just took Love Me Tender and rewrote it a little bit. I wish we could have gotten an episode with them in CGI that doesn't take place in the snow and they don't argue. That would have been very refreshing to see. And I'm also very confused at how Donald can suddenly switch directions on Gordon's Hill mid-scene. Is there a turntable up there? Is there like a loop track? Is there like a wizard up there that can turn him around by magic? I don't know. But yeah, I don't have much else to say, but I want to mention how stupid and insanely noticeable it is, that Cranky isn't at the docks in the first few shots. So when Emily is suddenly coupled up to the train, he's just there. It just seems like such an obvious thing you would notice would be missing, but apparently someone wasn't doing their job. There are a couple of funny moments and some well-directed bits, but the plot and the characterization is not good at all. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. It's not a good one. Alright, The Big Freeze. Again, another very good episode. It's basically like Thomas to the Rescue from season 8, but the the characters are flipped. And it's also quite similar to Kikre's episode, The Cold Crisis, from like season 9, season 10 of his series. I don't know if the writers watched his stuff and were influenced by this, but if they were, major props to Keeks for influencing an actual episode. And I believe this also shares a title with a Tugs episode, which is kind of cool. Neat little coincidence there. But yeah, not much to say about the story itself, but when this came out, I was very confused why Edward was at Tim's sheds. This episode comes like right after a shed for Edward in the canonical order of season 20, or 21, excuse me. And that's the episode where he leaves the sheds, so why is he back all of a sudden? It could just be like a mistake on the writer's fault or the animator's fault or whatever. But maybe these Christmas episodes are meant to come out before the fastest red engine and a shed for Edward. Who knows? The humor Mr. Topham had is also extremely irritating here. But this is really like the last season where the bullying... It really is like bullying on Sir Topham Hatt. This is the last season where it's really like apparent. It kind of stopped after this, but yeah, an enjoyable episode. 8 out of 10. Alrighty, so we're moving into some season 20 episodes now. So we got Cautious Connor. Again, this episode is amazing. What a great moral to teach the kids. I really like the choice that they chose, or I really like that they chose Connor to be the main character. I mean, they could have used, like, Henry or Gordon or even, like, Spencer, but we got Connor. We hadn't really gotten to know his character that much, but this episode totally fleshes him out, and he's probably one of my favorite characters from the CGI series now. The direction and camera work is also really good here. There's a shot from inside one of the bolts on Connor's coupling rod, and the camera turns as the workman tightens it. That is so creative, and I love that attention to detail. There are also some really cool sweeping shots and some really tight close-ups of, like, Steven's wheels and the engine's eyes, like, reacting to what Steven's saying. And that happens as Steven is trying to hype up Connor. That's really cool, and the facial animation is also very well done as well. But yeah, everything about this episode is amazing. The only thing that I wasn't crazy about was the Eye of the Tiger buildup. It's not horrible, but I believe I mentioned this in my Tinsel on the Tracks review. But this trope gets so overused so often, especially in season 21, and it gets old really, really fast. But I still laugh my ass off when they cut to that shot of Steven moving like 2 miles an hour with his like little squeaky wheel. I love this episode. It's borderline perfect. I'm going to give it a 9.5. Alrighty, we got All in Vain again. Another great episode. I adore this one. One of the most overlooked and underrated of the entire series, if you ask me. This episode is really great at developing James and would have been a great send-off for him. One of my biggest problems with him throughout this era is that his character development never stuck, and he was always regressing back into being like cocky and vain. In Pouty James, he learned not to be pouty, basically, and this actually stayed with him in this episode, which is very cool. He's not vain or cocky at all. I mean, he does get very upset when he finds a little scratch, but it's for good reason. I mean, he has a special job. He has to take the mayor to a ball or something, and he needs to be at his best, so of course he's going to be freaking out. I would be too. I also like how they tapped into the James and Edward dynamic again. We haven't really seen this since like season 10 or 11 or so. And that goes back way back to like Old Iron and such, so I appreciate that. Edward is also characterized perfectly here too. He feels like he's plucked right out of like season 2 or season 3. I love that a lot. This is the version of Edward that I want in my version of Thomas and Friends. And this is a little minor thing, but I really, really like the animation and the lighting in this episode. This era from like season 19 to 21 had really good animation and such. But in this episode, it's really well done. I don't know what it is, but like the red on James seems extremely vibrant. The blue of the sky is really nice. It's just very fresh. That's the best word I can use. So yeah, probably one of the best episodes of the entire CGI series. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. This is wonderful. And coming off that high, we have Tit for Tat. Another 10 out of 10. Do I have to even explain? It's phenomenal. It's a great episode. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really understand why these 3 season 20 episodes are on here. They aren't Christmas related. Yes, they are great episodes, but they don't really fit the theme of Christmas on Sodor. I assume they just copied the UK release of this because that has the exact same episode order and assortment. So just to appease me, I'm going to take out those 3, and I'm just going to keep the season 21 episodes. I'm also going to reorder those so they make a little bit of more sense. So the order would go The Big Freeze, Emily in the Middle, Terence Breaks the Ice, Daisy's Perfect Christmas, and Confused Coaches. And with that, we're done. This is the last episodic U.S. Thomas DVD, and what a way to go out. This has probably one of the best episode selections of the entire series, regardless if they fit the theme or not. I'm not kidding when I say this, but all of these episodes, minus Emily in the Middle, are great. I think this DVD will go down in history as one of the best CGI episode DVDs. And speaking of that, why not rank the CGI DVDs? I did this when we finished the Anchor Bay releases back with Rusty to the Rescue, so why not do it with the CGI ones? I'm gonna just say this right now. If you're a fan of the Miller era, you're probably gonna be upset, but I'm not including any of the Nitrogen episodes on here, or the Nitrogen releases on here, because they're all garbage. So we're gonna start with number 10 and then work our way down. Alrighty, so at number 10, we have the Christmas Engines here. I initially had this a little bit higher, but thinking about it, I only really like 2 of the episodes. I love Last Train for Christmas. I love Duck in the Humbug. But the other 3 on here, we got Duck in the Water, The Perfect Gift. Oh, what's the other one? Let me look at my notes here. Excuse me. I'm a very unprepared host. I apologize. Let's find this. Come on. Where is it? I'll also say this. Starting with Railway Mischief, I started taking more in-depth notes on these episodes. And before, when I was covering the Miller era stuff, I had like 11 pages of notes. Now I have 65. So, yeah, lots of notes here. Where is this? Duck in the Water, we did that. Duck in the Humbug, yeah. Long Lost Friend, that's what it is. Yeah, that one wasn't that great. So yeah, only 2 episodes on here really shine to me. The rest are lukewarm to not that great, but yeah, I love this cover. It just feels so like sophisticated and streamlined. I don't know what it is. I think it's the font they chose, but it's really like festive, and I always get in the Christmas mood when I look at this. So yeah, very, very great release. So at number 9, we have Signals Crossed. Another very good assortment of episodes on here, minus the title story. All of them are pretty good. Let's see, what do we have on here? I gotta go back up here. I should have prepared better for this. I'm just basing this off of history. I didn't really plan on doing this. I only thought of the idea like a couple minutes before recording. But we got like Thomas and the Emergency Cable, Duncan and the Grumpy Passenger, Marion and the Pipe, No Steam Without Coal. Great episodes. I love the Duncan episodes from this season. I love the Bill and Ben episodes. I love the Thomas episodes. They're very well done. This cover is also really cool as well. I really like that logo, and the angle that Thomas and Toby had are really, really cool. So yeah, this also holds a very special memory to me. I got this for my 17th birthday, brand new in the shrink wrap, so that's very cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all. I like this release a lot. Very, very cool. Also, one of the last Thomas DVDs to be put on Netflix back in the day. I think it was the last one, so that's kind of cool. Alrighty, at number 8, we have Thomas's Christmas Carol. Before reviewing this, I didn't have many fond memories of these episodes, but going back, I had a great time with this. I love Diesel's Ghostly Christmas. I'm not a big fan of the Beast of Sodor, but I really like Snowplace, like Home, and the other one. What was the other one on here? Crap. Where is it? Let's see here. Snowplace at Home. Cranky Christmas. That one's pretty fun too. But yeah, those two, those first two especially. Diesel's Ghostly Christmas and Snowplace at Home. Those are really fun. And this cover is also very nice. It just feels kind of quiet to me and very like reserved and calm. I like it a lot. That logo is great. Thomas is so simple with just the ribbon on him. It just feels very nice. I like it. Yeah, very Christmassy. I'm just going to spoil this right now, but every single Christmas release from the Brenner era is on here because these episodes are amazing. Alrighty, next up, we got Ultimate Friendship Adventures. So initially I had this one a bit higher, and I had some pretty good memories of these episodes, but when I reviewed this a couple of weeks ago, I didn't find myself enjoying a lot of these episodes. I really like Henry Gets the Express. I really like No Help Without Cole. No Help at All. I love Goodbye Sir Topham Hatt. But the rest are just kind of like lukewarm to like downright bad. So I like that it's got 10 episodes on here. The first time Stevie did have more than like 6 or 7, I think. So that's pretty cool. And the cover on here is also really cool. Yeah. Not a terrible release, but it is quite enjoyable. Those great episodes really stand out to me. And this is also the very first CGI Thomas DVD that I ever had. Not counting Blue Mountain Mystery and Tale of the Brave. So, yeah. Next up, we've got Santa's Little Engine. Another one that I didn't have many happy memories with, but after I reviewed this, I was like, wow, this is a really fun release. We got Santa's Little Engine. We have the Missing Christmas Decorations. I thought I'd give that one like a 6 out of 10, but it's still cool that Diesel 10's back. We've got, what else is on here? No Snow for Thomas. And there's one more. Oh, the Frozen Turntable. And then we also have the redub of Snow Tracks. But yeah, Santa's Little Engine. That's a great episode. So is No Snow for Thomas. I was going to say No Snow Without Thomas, but yeah, very fun release. I really like the concept of Santa's Little Engine, and this cover is really cool as well. I wish mine had a slipcover, but whatever. It's a very, very fun, very festive release. And this was kind of like the first Thomas DVD where I was like, wow, the series is going to be good for a long time. Railway Mischief was very fun. But this one was like, wow, Thomas is going in the right direction, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Alrighty, we are now are we in the top 5 yet? We are in the top 5. So, we've got Spills and Thrills here taking the number 5 spot. I adore these episodes. They're pretty much all great. We got, No More Mr. Nice Engine, The Smelly Kipper, The Afternoon Tea Express isn't that great. What else is on here? Away from the Sea, and Percy's Lucky Day is not on this. Go back up to my notes here. Excuse me. Sorry if the table is kind of like creaky there. Oh, where is it? Come on. Where is it? Oh, we also... Was the bonus episode on here? No, that was the Thomas Way, excuse me. Where is this one? I can't find it. I don't think I took notes on these. But yeah, I love these episodes so much. I also love this cover. It's very cool, and I like the throwback to Spills and Chills, which is actually my favorite Thomas and Friends home media release. Yeah, really great. I love the slipcover as well. Very cool. So, yeah. And then taking the number 4 spot, we got Engines to the Rescue. A kind of forgotten release. People don't really remember this one that much, except for how rare it is, because it was only included in that 2-pack with Tale of the Brave, exclusive to Walmart. But the episodes on here are pretty great. We got Henry's Hero, Bill or Ben, Too Many Fire Engines, Not Now Charlie. There's probably one more that I'm missing. I can't remember that well. Let me go down to my notes again. I said Henry's Hero and Not Now Charlie. And I said Bill or Ben. Oh, the Phantom Express. That one was kind of like, okay. Yeah, I really enjoy the simplicity of this one, and Bill or Ben and Henry's Hero are two of my favorite episodes from season 17, so yeah. And I'm also very happy to have gotten this one pretty much mint, although my case kind of got damaged when it was being shipped over here, so it's kind of unfortunate there. And it was the first Thomas DVD to be put out by, sorry, there's a shadow there, by Universal, so that's kind of cool. And then number 3 is actually Christmas on Sodor. I already went over the points why I like this one so much, but the episodes down here are pretty much all great, and it really set the Thomas series off with a bang. Alrighty, and then number 2, we got Tinsel on the Tracks. This one and my number 1 kind of flip-flop, but oh man, I love these episodes so much. I love season 20. When these episodes came out, I was like, wow, these are borderline masterpieces. All these episodes are fantastic. There's not a single thing wrong with any of them. I love this cover as well, very elegant. And I was very happy to find this at Once Upon a Child, brand new, with the slipcover. That's very rare, but it's a very, very good release to have the slipcover for. So, yeah, very cool. And then number 1 is going to go to Trouble on the Tracks. When this came out, I was, almost 10, I believe. And I was like, wow, we had just gotten the amazing season 17, and now we're going on to season 18, and these episodes are even better. Can Thomas get better than this? And it did. It got way better than this, actually. I'm not saying this is bad at all. This is pretty great. We got Thomas the Quarry Engine, Disappearing Diesels, Not Now Charlie, Not So Slow Coaches. That's what it is, yeah. Oh, what else is on here? The Flatbeds of Fear. Oh boy, that one's not that great. But we got Toad's Adventures. Well, wow, Toad and Oliver came back. That's so cool. And the cover on this one is also really cool. I love this logo. I love the slipcover, and it's still got the Sam Slip exclusive sticker. This is a great release. Another release that I watched on Netflix a lot back in the day. But yeah, not much else to say. It's just a very fun release. So that's pretty much all for my ranking. I hope you guys have somewhat similar rankings. I mean, I'm not going to force you to have the exact same, but if you have a different release that you like, let me know. Like, do you like any of the Miller era releases? Do you not like any of the Brenner era releases? Let me know. But yeah, let me go back down to my notes here. Oh, come on. There we go. Alrighty, so that is a wrap on Thomas at Home. Guys, I've had such a great time doing this series, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. It's really crazy how many DVDs Thomas put out in 17 years. I believe this is the 112th episode. So we got 112 DVDs, and that's not even all of them. We got like samplers, multi-packs, exclusive ones with only like 2 episodes on them, like the take-along DVDs and such. That's crazy. There's probably around like 130 maybe put out in the US. It's crazy. But yeah, after this release, we wouldn't really get new stuff. We would get a few compilation packs like Thomas's Holiday Collection. Later on, we get the Heroic Collection and the 10 Movie Birthday Collection. And besides Magic Railroad on Blu-ray, we wouldn't really get anything new until 2019 with Big World Big Adventures. Minus some reprints thrown in there as well, like Thomas's Halloween Adventures and Snowy Surprise and such. But Mattel didn't even release Big World Big Adventures, the series, on DVD, so what was the point of releasing the movie? Like, you couldn't watch season 22 anywhere. It was on Nick Jr. like once. You could watch 23 and 24 on Netflix, but I don't understand. Why not put the movie on Netflix too? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But yeah, not counting that Magic Railroad Blu-ray, we wouldn't get a new DVD until 2021 with the release of All Engines Go. I mentioned this before, but I am not covering All Engines Go DVDs. I think that series is absolute garbage, and it's a slap in the face to everything Thomas. But yeah, Thomas DVDs have had such a big presence in my life, and they really sparked my interest in Thomas. For those who don't know or don't remember, I got my first DVD back in 2007. It was actually this version of Thomas's Halloween Adventures. It was the Wooden Train bonus pack. It came with the Haunted Caboose here, and I got that just after my youngest brother was born. So ever since then, I've been a really big Thomasaholic. And I really enjoyed my time in the Thomas fandom. It's been a lot of fun. The series has had many ups and downs, more downs than ups, but those years of like the Brenner era were so much fun, and I really miss them. So yeah, before I end, I want to show you all one thing really quick. You've probably heard me refer to my handy-dandy notebook or whatever with every DVD that I have, or every DVD with like their dates and such. And I always said in the last episode of the series that I'd show it off to you. So give me just 1 second. Let me take this piece of tape off really quick. But yeah, I'm going to show it to you all, because why not? So let me pick up the camera. So this is the front. Nick's drawing binder. I think I made this in like 8th grade, so I kind of got to update that because it's not too good, but I'm going to open it up here. Oh, we're going to start off by, or it starts off by the VHSs. The check marks indicate the ones that I have at the moment. So it starts with 1990 and it goes all the way to 2006. So it's a pretty big list. I think I made these lists in like April of 2020 when we were stuck in quarantine. I was like, okay, I want to have every single Thomas DVD that I have in order, and I want to collect every single DVD, so I want to know what order they're in. So yeah, here's all the VHS tapes. And then I also have the movies listed separately as well. And this is kind of like the line under A Big Day for Thomas is kind of like the cutoff where they started doing that new style they did in Cranky Bugs and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we'll go to this side. Oh, here's the back, by the way, of that page. There was no DVD for Tenders and Turntables, Thomas Breaks the Rules, Better Late Than Never, Thomas's Christmas Party, and Thomas Meets the Queen. So. And then here's every single US DVD release in order from 2000 to 2020. So we go all down here. And you can see there are check marks on all of them because I have every single DVD now. So that's very cool. Flip to the other side now. Here's the back. Ton of DVDs. And then here's this side. So you can see there's a bunch of like addition and subtraction and such. This was back in 2020 when I was counting up, ooh, how many more DVDs do I need? How many more do I need? How many do I have? So yeah, there's a lot here, but yeah. I believe that's everything. Yep, that's everything for this. So this is my handy dandy notebook. I haven't actually used this recently. I just kind of rely on the wiki, but back before I started doing the CGI DVDs, I would use that list, and it's been extremely helpful. And if you want to know the correct order, you can look on the wiki, but that'll take a long time. So if you want, I can take pictures of these and I can put them in a Google Drive folder or something. Who knows? But yeah. And with that, we're done. For now. So I'm sure all of you know this, but Mattel really dropped the ball when it came to releasing the rest of Season 20 and 21 on DVD in America. We're still missing 8 episodes from Season 20 and 13 from 21. And they didn't even bother releasing the Big World Big Adventure series. However, the UK did get those missing episodes, and all the ones from Big World Big Adventures. So, to keep the series going, I'm going to be reviewing the remaining UK DVDs, starting off with the UK version of Team Up with Thomas, and working our way through Season 21, 22, 23, and 24, as well as the 20-minute episode DVDs like Digs and Discoveries, The Royal Engine, stuff like that. So this does mean that I will have to watch Big World Big Adventures, and I haven't seen all the episodes, so this will be somewhat interesting to me, but also kind of painful. Excuse me. And as a special treat, I'll be completely ending the series by taking a look at the complete series DVDs released in the UK. So I will take a look at season 1 through 7 and 17 through 20. They never released season 8 through 11 or 21 through 24 in that style, and I would rather die than watch the Miller era again. So we'll completely finish off the series with the complete series 20 DVD. Now this is where you guys come in. So if any of you live in the UK or you collect the UK DVDs and you have some extras lying around, please hit me up. I'll leave my main Twitter and Instagram and such in the description, but if you have any extras, please hit me up. I currently do not have any UK DVDs, and I really need every release from Team Up and Thomas through Animal Adventures and the complete series 1 through 7 and 17 through 20. I also don't have a region-free DVD player, so if anyone has one they're willing to sell, please hit me up. So I'd be willing to either pay you or trade for any DVDs you have, and I will also give you a special shout out in the episode. But that kind of means that there won't be any new content on this channel for a while. It's probably going to take me a couple of months to get those DVDs, and since they're not my main priority, I'm going to spend more time working on stuff for Turbo 711. So expect to see me back on this channel around September, October at the earliest, and then at the latest, probably next year. I don't know, but DVDs can get a little expensive. I think on Amazon they're all around $8, so I just gotta get enough money to get all those. But yeah, if any of you have extras you're willing to sell or trade me, please hit me up. But if you still want content from me, you can check me out on Turbo 711, where I post Thomas Winnerly videos every single month, pretty much on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I want to thank you all again so much for this watching this series. I know this didn't like blow up or anything. It's a pretty small channel still. And I want to give a huge shout out to my two inspirations, Lego Lover 117, aka Garrett, for his Thomas and Friends Home Media series. I love that series so much during quarantine and such. I would watch that on loop. It's a very good series, and it gives a very good insight onto these DVDs. And he's a lot funnier than I am. And I also want to thank Thomas Fan 261, aka Sean. His series is mainly focused on the UK DVDs, and I love that series as well. Very, very good series. Series. That's multiple, like 2 series, right? I don't know. Yeah, thank you to you two for inspiring me, and you guys have mentioned me or talked to me a little bit before, so thank you for encouraging me. And thank you to all of you so much for watching. Currently, right now, let's take a look. We are at, let me mute my computer really quick. Let's go to my channel. We are at 562 subscribers, so I want to thank you all so much for that. I'd really like to get to 1,000, but by the time I do, the series will probably be over for good, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I want to thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you later this year. Bye! That music is very, very loud. I'm sorry.